What's up, everybody? It's Stacey Storino, and I am here on the Stacey Storino YouTube channel. This is a place that, for now, we are going live on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is my free weekly, give back to the content marketing community. I have been a coach for a content marketing for conversions based business coach for 8 years now. And I've had thousands of paying students through the years. And I love what I do and I love who I do it for. I have a variety of offerings. You can see some of them in the show notes down below. But if you are an entrepreneur who has had trouble, especially as of late, you think maybe it's the economy, maybe it's not, or nothing's ever really truly caught fire for your business, content marketing can help you get the conversions you need for your business to succeed. You may have other problems besides your content marketing, though. So the theme for this week's teaching, I'll do about 15 minutes of teaching at least, and then I will definitely go back and forth with my students or anybody else who comes aboard. We're happy to take strays here. And at least you can get free coaching once a week. Right now it's on Wednesdays. If it turns out that I am going to push it over to the weekend because my 7-figure success client, Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, they want me to help them with their marketing more now. So I do have a free Facebook group called Content Marketing for Conversions. It's free to join. It doesn't suddenly become a boot camp or anything. We're getting close to 400 people in there. There's 2 freebies, 2 free PDFs that can help you fix certain issues with your content marketing. When you join the group, you just tap or click on files at the top of the group feed, and you'll find those 2 free PDFs there. So 2 free content increasing goodies in this free Facebook group, and it's content marketing for conversions. If you're watching this on the replay, hey, what's going on? The Speckled Loon by Susie B is here. Hi, Miss Susie. What's going on? Let me know what's going on with your business if you care to share. Anybody watching live or on the replay, hashtag live, hashtag replay. That does help me figure out who's watching when, whether you're a student of mine or not. And if you're watching this on the replay, please let me be clear that you can leave a question based upon either what I teach or a content marketing based question. And if you leave it in the comments when this goes into replay mode on the replay video, I usually check these things at least one day back to try to get back to you. Lenore, I'm sorry that you had a hard time getting in. I had a hard time getting in too. I wasn't in at 10 a.m. straight. I think I was in at 10:01, 10:02 today. I'm in upstate New York, and sometimes the connectivity isn't always so great. Lisa Spangler is here. Hi, Miss Lisa Spangler. What's going on? She says, morning, hashtag live. My sales tanked last Thursday. I used to get 3 to 5 sales a day for the past 4 years. Well, I know you were doing well, and I've had 0 sales 3 days since Thursday. I finally got 3 orders yesterday. I think Etsy is up to no good, or was up to no good. Oh, hi. I know the weather's getting nicer all across, the land here. So Susie's spray painting some products that she's going to have for sale outside today. Oh, I love it when we can do things outside. That's great. Lenora says, Starlin Moore had a video yesterday about Etsy being screwy with SEO and people going elsewhere. Lenore, thank you for sharing that. I love Starla Moore. She's an Etsy expert. I have been a more, when I first started 8 years ago, it was a lot of female attorneys coming to me because I've been a female attorney since 1998. I was mostly down Supreme Court Bronx County and Supreme Court New York County. So I knew a lot of female attorneys down there. You start to go upstate, at least back when I was really active in the court system, you had barely any attorneys that were female. So I started coaching female attorneys, and a lot of them wanted to spin off and do their own businesses and stuff. And then they sent me a whole bunch of their friends, their neighbors, their relatives. And I very quickly, within the first 2 years, started to branch out into all sorts of business models. Now, the handmade business, community is a subset of the products-based business. Not everyone's on Etsy, but lots of people have been. Starla Moore is the Etsy expert. That's where she was running her business actively for years. I don't know. You guys tell me if she still has an active shop. I know her coaching business and her YouTube channel has definitely, gone way up since she started, and she's an excellent coach. I love her and her husband Mark to pieces. They're good people, and I know that Etsy's been kind of dicey, but she's a person, like Lenora said, like Starla Moore, Moore, for anyone watching live or on the replay who's not familiar. Like, if you're hardcore using Etsy either completely as your business model, which I would never tell you to do, okay, even Starla would probably say, I think, that it's best to have your own website and run your business off your website, but to use Etsy as a traffic source. I don't ever encourage, especially like products-based business, handmade-based, handmade products-based businesses. I don't tell you not to be on Etsy. I'm not an Etsy expert. I like things as traffic sources, but it's all about getting people on your email list. And forevermore, once you captured that lead, because that's lead capture, when you get somebody on your email list, you are driving them to your website. Because yes, even after teaser rates for hosting is over, you're still going to save an arm and a leg over places like Etsy. If you're a coach or a course creator, because I started off with a lot of those people not too long into my coaching career, because I'm still an attorney and I still do side work for pre-existing clients. I haven't taken on new clients since 2016. And I do some of the content marketing with Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, and they need me to do more. But coaches and course creators, like places like Udemy or Skillshare or things like that, like, to me, those are traffic sources at best. You are going to get paid pennies on the dollar for what you can sell your course for, even if you don't have like this huge, like $997 course or whatever, or higher that you're selling, even if it's something like $197, $397, something like that. I would rather get all that money and not have to split it with Udemy or Skillshare or something. If you're like, listen, it's a traffic source, and then I have a legit non-violative terms of service, like way of getting people onto my email list, and then I sell my boot camps and whatever to them from there forevermore, then just like with Etsy, yes, you can use these things as a traffic source, but never, 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 never have it be your long-term plan that you're just going to sell on Etsy or sell on Amazon, depending upon what products you're selling, if it's not like Etsy friendly. But I'm telling you, every platform is out for themselves. And even if they're like a new upstart and they bend over backwards for a year, 2 or 3, eventually they're like, my land, my rules. When you're running businesses off platforms like Etsy or Udemy or Amazon or anything, you're running your business off rented land. The way to be most profitable, and I do have brick and mortar clients for years and years too, they'll tell you owning is better than renting, right? Like, you want to have the land, even if you don't have like a taxpayer rental up top, and you're just using all the square footage yourself. Owning is so much better than renting. So the closest thing you're going to get if you're not needing a brick and mortar location, and most businesses do not need to, depending upon the model, you're better off keeping your overhead low. Please do. But just like with brick and mortars, it's better to do all or most of your business through something you own, which is your own website. That's the closest to owning your own land for everybody. Lenora says, I don't think she sells the keys anymore, but don't take my word for it. You know what? Not to tell tales out of school, but I think Melissa Pickle was the first person to tell me that a few months ago. And I was like, really? But Starla's doing very well as a coach. Okay. And, I used to do one-on-one work. I can't do that anymore. I used to do done for you stuff. I'll only do it for Joe's now. And they do want me to get a little bit more involved. The one lady who was really doing a lot of it for us, she's pregnant. She's going to have to go on maternity leave. So if I do end up moving these things over, because I know like Lisa, Susie, Lenore, a bunch of other people, I know Bridget is traveling back from Alaska. Like I know several of my students tend to come to these things that I do live if they can make it. Donna, because I know Donna and Onika sometimes listen, but may not comment in because their businesses are huge. They're running crazy. Same thing with Melissa. I would say I might have to move this to Saturdays depending upon what Joe's needs me to do. But for this week and next week, for sure, I will be doing it at Wednesdays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're on my email list, you'll definitely get, like written notice. And if you're in the content marketing for conversions group, you will definitely, let me pin that while we're live. You'll get the message in there too if you're not on my email list, but you're in the free group. Okay. So let me see this. Lisa says, I do have a website and I'm working on it more. I needed to update it a little, new pictures. I like Kara Bunton for Etsy advice. See, outside of Starla, I don't know anybody, but I never say get off Etsy. Just use it as a traffic source. Okay. If you guys have any questions, either live or on the replay, make sure that you ask it down below. Try to ask me your most, challenging question. Really push me hard. I've got 8 years of experience doing this. I have a ton of students that I've gotten to multiple 5-figure, 6-figure, 7-figure business. Joe's is my first. Barbara Clay is another one. And let's see, the third one, I have an NDA, so I can't tell you. But I'm like their dirty little secret as they rebrand. But that's okay. That's okay. But in the meantime, I do have something. If you guys don't have questions or you don't want to share with me like how your business has been going or what you're doing for your business right now, because Lisa Spangler just said she's updating her website with fresh pictures. I think you should do that all the time anyway, no matter what you're selling and who you're selling it to. You want to keep things fresh for at least the season. If your business is slow and you're pacing the floors, like you can pray or you can worry, but you can't do both, as the saying goes. And God or the universe helps those who help themselves. So I like what Lisa's doing. She's taking time to overhaul. I'm not saying her business is slow, but she's taking the time to like freshen up her website. If people come to your website and they're like a repeat customer, they're going to feel kind of stale and they're going to feel that your business is kind of stale. Like Joe's wants me to overhaul their website too, but I'm like, dude, I have to finish the work on my website first and then I'll get to y'all. But I do have what I'm going to teach now because I know that some people are going to say, I have plenty of students in my paid groups who will tell you, like Jennifer Chamberlain Majors, she sells personalized sports jerseys. She can do it for teams. She can also do it for people for fun, right? She's like, I'm making more money now than I even was last year. And she said that in at least 2 student groups, paid student groups that I have. So I feel like I can share that here. Some of my students, especially once they get to 6 figures and higher, there's some people that can say you can allude to the fact that I'm a 6-figure business, like the Wicked Griffin, right? I'm always proud of Jackie. I'm proud of y'all. But some people are like, don't tell anybody. I feel sheepish because some people are struggling. If you're struggling, that's what I want to talk about today. But Lenore just said something, so let me acknowledge her. Is there a trick to scheduling on later for Facebook and Instagram at the same time, but for different dates? Ooh, you stumped me there. I don't know offhand because I tend to just come in and just piecemeal and run. So I'm going to be doing a lot more for Joe. So I'll tell you, I know that you can do it separate and piecemeal for the Meta Business Suite that used to be like the Facebook, Business Suite or whatever. It's now Meta, where you can join your Facebook page with your Instagram business account. It has to be an Instagram business account, and it has to be a Facebook page. I could be wrong. I don't think so. You can't, if you have like Joe's does, if you also have a Facebook group, you can't bring it into the Meta Suite right now. But you can schedule things out in groups individually 2 on Facebook. So we do that from time to time. I know that it used to be that you could only go up to 60 days in the Meta Business Suite. Now, folks like Donna and all are telling me you can go out a year. So, wow, that's a lot of fun. So that question I have to mess with later a whole lot more than I've ever done. I just go in and I'm like, bang, 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 and I'm done. I just think very linearly when I do that. But I like the way you're thinking, Lenore, because for you, that might be like really like good to be able to do that. But I do like the idea of you guys scheduling out content. If you're like, I can't afford later right now, my business isn't profitable. We're going to talk about what to do if your business isn't profitable. We're going to talk about if it's like breaking even, making a little bit of money, but it's generally profitable and solid, but you're not like super impressed. And I really don't have to say anything. If you're like multiple 5, 6 figures and beyond, y'all know, y'all know that if for you, it's just scaling and it's delegating and reinvesting back into your business, probably a bit more than you'd like. Like I spend a couple $1,000s a month on staff. I can't do it all myself. And now I have to go be more active staff for Joe's. So I'm like going to be splitting myself in 2 different directions. Hey, Miss Donna. Good morning. What's going on? How's everything going with you, Miss Donna? It's been a minute. I know you're super busy. Oop. I did not tag you right there. I am all about you guys scheduling out a lot of your content. So like if you guys have the popularity plan, I know a lot of people like within 24 to 48 hours of getting it, they plugged it all into the Meta Business Suite or something like later. Some people resize the graphics that you get with the popularity plans. They can be pins. And so they might use later to schedule out the pins. They're still using the Meta Business Suite. Otherwise, I will tell you for Facebook not to use any other scheduling tool because Facebook doesn't like it. When you do, Instagram later is an official third party of or a third party vendor of Instagram. It won't hurt you, but if you're using the Meta Business Suite, I would lean more into that and then use later for things like Pinterest and TikTok. Do you need to be everywhere all the time? Absolutely no. Not until you're a more advanced business where you can delegate out more to independent contractors and teams. Intermediate success level folks, yes, you should be reinvesting back into your business out of your profits, reinvesting at least about a quarter, 25% back into your business. So if you're not using paid tool solutions, and it would be a good idea for you to do so, that would be the time. So if you're not using things like a paid version of later, Flick for hashtag research. If you got out of beginner and you went into intermediate, and you managed to do it all free and bootstrapping and stuff, that's cool. For some people, that's got to be your journey. You might have to pay down a lot of personal debt along the way. I understand that. But by intermediate, you need to start experimenting with your first like part-timer or independent contractor, investing into paid tools or paid versions of tools. And yes, to close the loop on what I was saying just a moment ago, you should be scheduling out a lot of your content, but not all of it. I do think everybody should do a live stream like I do on the platform or platforms that will drive the most business given your ideal customer and the psychographics that show where they are when they're online. So maybe for you, it's a Facebook live stream or both on Facebook and Instagram. That might make sense for you. When it's coach course creator time, I don't know. I'm finding that YouTube, I get a whole lot more traction. I grow my email list. More people tend to join the free group when I promote that. So, I'm getting good results on YouTube. You don't have to be everywhere simultaneously. If you're a beginner, you don't have proof of concept, your business isn't profitable ever or almost ever, or, you're on a wing and a prayer. It is not. You need to be on the top 2 social media platforms that are most important for your niche. And that's all you worry about. And that's all you work. And even as you get into intermediate, I want you to at least get an independent contractor or learn one or more paid tools and lean into them for help so that you're really ruling on those top 2 social media platforms. And then you can weave in a third platform if it makes sense for you to do so. by the time you're advanced, you can be on like 4 different platforms. Maybe depending upon your journey and all that, maybe between beginner and intermediate, you go once a week on YouTube. Okay. 2 to maybe 3 times a week will keep you competitive for most niches you're trying to attract. By intermediate, I would like to see you doing 1 to 2 videos at least a week on YouTube. When you're advanced, you can do 2, 3 because you're a fool if you don't have a video editor, in my personal opinion. By advanced, if not by intermediate. Because to me, unless, did I have a student who did this years ago? Unless you're teaching about things like you know, video editing and stuff like that, and you're a coach, course creator, but that's like not 99.9% of you. That's not your situation. One of the first things I would do is probably get like a customer service / techie person to help you with everything you're trying to do once you're an intermediate. If you're in a products-based business and you need somebody to help you physically crank out your stuff and or get it to the post office and or get it shipped out, then that's what you need. But at some point, get a video editor, an independent contractor, maybe somebody from the Philippines is easier enough for somebody to afford at intermediate. By advanced, you might be getting an employee, right? So I see some more comments. Donna says, I could never do all the social at the level we have built it to without my virtual assistant. It has been so worth it. Thank you for your leadership, Donna. I always appreciate it. I know you're at a level now that you can't be hanging out with me. A lot of my students are at a level now where they're multiple 5, 6 figures. Who's doing 125? Who's doing $150,000 a year? And they're like, I try to catch the replays. God bless you. I want you all to be so busy that you can't come and hang out with me all the time. I miss y'all, but what can I do? Donna says, I now have all that extra time to build my website. Like, really, she's had a website for a while, but I know, you know, she wants to do more with hers. And I want to get more YouTube done and teach classes and see clients, because now she does have some elements of one of the 3 big business income streams that she runs where she sees people in person. And so that's like, you know, but then, you know, 2020 happened. All right. So more questions. Let me talk about what I want you to do, because I had a student a couple of weeks ago, and I thought about her. I mean, I've done what I can both in the group and behind the scenes to help her, but she was like, my business is profitable. It's not profitable enough to help me keep up with, you know, my busy season will be in the summer, and then I can sell gifts in Q4. But Q1 and Q2, like business quarters 1 and 2, she's like, I'm struggling more this year. And that's frustrating me. You know, since I became a student years like 2019, 2020, 2021, you know, you're always going to have busy seasons and slow seasons. Every business model does. And she understood this. That wasn't her problem. Her problem was Q1 and Q2 have sucked for her so far. And she's like, it sucks. My husband and I believe in our business, but I'm getting really strapped and I'm uncomfortable. What should I do? So for that person, I'll tell you what I told her. And by and large, it is what I would tell anyone who's in her position, where they feel like they have a foot stuck in both worlds. It's profitable. It's viable. I have had proof of concept for some time. In her case, for years. She's been coaching with me since 2019. So for years. But she's like, I'm seeing it kind of drop. Yes, it's not my busy season, but it's dropping low for not my busy season. And money's tight. What do I do? So I'll get to the people who can't get sales at all, or it's way too far and few between. Do you have proof of concept? Do you not? What do you do in a minute? But I do find that there's students who are like, I was making, you know, 40, 50, 60,000 last year. And I'm, you know, my income is way dropped. What do I do? I was well on my way to 6 figures. I liked my traction. The economy sucks in America or global, you know, what's going on in Ukraine or whatever. Like, what do I do? And I will tell you that some of my students are just, they're like, this is my best year ever, or I'm keeping pace with the last 2 years. So I don't know why some people are having problems. It depends. It depends. But before I get to the problems, my first piece of advice is don't give up on a business that is profitable. Don't give up on a business that is viable. Ask yourself if maybe, even if it's just temporarily for a season of life, you just work a side hustle and you pay down whatever debt or car payments, whatever's giving you the pressure, stress, and noise that's distracting you. And now you're pacing and perseverating, or you're off your game. You don't want to do live streams. You feel beat up by life. This poor girl is feeling really beat up. And she's like, I am profitable nonetheless. It's just that we're strapped. You should never be strapped. Okay. And I think it's unrealistic to give advice to people that, if they know the height of their season is going to be 3 months, and then maybe they can sell some gifts during the holidays. I'm all about content marketing for conversions. I'm not saying you stop. I'm not saying you give up your business. But if you're telling me that your business is only taking you 10 hours a week right now, and then even during your busy season, it's not going to be 40 hours a week for you, it may suck. But you go get some disposable job and you work it and you pay down and off debt. Because we're all adults here. We have to do our adulting. I had to work 2-3 jobs while I was first building my coaching business. I couldn't just say, Zot, I'm a coach. Let me just step out and whatever. Lovely to be a person that's in that situation or close to it, but most of us are not. So you're in very good company. But I would not, under any circumstances, especially if you have proof of concept. What's proof of concept? People who are not family, friends, coworkers, if you have a job or a hustle already, people who don't already know you, strangers out in the wild digitally are raising up their credit cards and going, take my money. If you have that happen even once, you are cracking the crust, you're breaking the seal on proof of concept. If you can get a couple of sales a month, you definitely have proof of concept. Usually what I say at that point, if you're new to me, is let's look at your content marketing. Are you spreading yourself too thin? Collapse down to the top 2 social media platforms that are most important for your niche. Doesn't matter what you like. It matters what your ideal customer likes. If you don't understand your ideal customer enough to appreciate, if I had to pick where the top 2 places that they are, you don't know your ideal customer or not. You have a fuzzy ideal customer avatar. That stuff is not busy work or homework, and it's not 2-dimensional. It's not just demographics. That's like the skeleton of the person. The psychographics is putting flesh on the bones for that person. So you understand what their life looks like online and offline both. And then you're like, okay, if I really had to pick, I know I have to be on Facebook and Instagram. They're older. Or I have to be on Instagram and TikTok. Right now, TikTok, their biggest demographic, it could always change, but right now it's women aged 30 to 40, which most of you, not all of you, but most of you claim that's the ideal customer for you. It's someone who's still young, upwardly mobile, probably a mother and making money. She's probably got a certain amount of education. Well, guess what? She's finally in the camp of, if I can't beat them, join them. That's why you need to get on TikTok, because the student that I referred to before, Jennifer Chamberlain Majors, she's like, I'm still doing business on TikTok all day long. She shared in one of my paid student groups a picture of her dashboard when she fell off TikTok for a little bit, where she was not doing any, or like maybe 1 video a day. Her income dropped huge. Once she went back to 3 to 5 videos a day, boom. And she's like, you just do these and you rattle them out and you go. And she showed on her dashboard, like literally everything starting to increase in terms of traffic on TikTok and getting the conversions that she needs, right? Who cares if you have 800,000 followers on TikTok? If nobody or almost nobody is buying from you, you can't deposit followers in the bank. So is it important for you to be on TikTok right now? It depends. Who's your ideal customer? How do they spend their day, right? Are they going to be on TikTok for half an hour to an hour a day? If they're on TikTok, they're on there for 50 to 60 hours, 50 to 60 minutes a day. All right, so hold on. Mike Reinhardt's here. What's going on, Mike? How's it going? So Donna, let me not skip this. She's total suggest profit first to balance that out if they have proof of concept. we're down a bit too. You just have to adjust to add in more income streams that people will spend on right now. I love that. And I definitely want to touch upon that because it's worth it. ESG is here. What's going on? Hi. Says Starla Moore didn't necessarily say anything about moving away from Etsy. If you weren't here before, ESG, I said if that's a good traffic source for you, under no circumstances, at least right now, would I tell you not to use it as a traffic source. What I would tell you to do is have your own website so that someone discovers you through Etsy and or makes their first purchase that way, but being careful not to violate terms of service. You say in a transactional email, your next purchase is 20% off. Or if you want me to cancel this purchase and ring you up using the 20% off coupon, you'll now be on my email list. You'll learn about all my sales, deals, and steals. And, if I put out a useful YouTube video or I go live on Instagram or anything for tips, tricks, and techniques about whatever that has to do with the purchase that you made, come on down. I have people who sell jewelry. They come on once a week. They will talk about, you're like, what live streams would you do about jewelry? Besides what's fashionable now, what you can use and reuse from your own jewelry box or whatever now, how to clean jewelry properly, how to store it properly so that it doesn't get all knotted up or whatever. What metals look good against what skin tones, what, stones look good against skin tones, depending upon your ideal customer. Maybe if they're Wiccan, pagan, whatever, they may believe that the stones have properties. You could go on and on and on just with jewelry to build up a brand-based community that goes, you understand me, you understand my needs and or desires, you understand like what I want or need out of your products. I'm going to get to know, like, and trust you better than your similarly situated competitors. Next time I buy, it's going to be from you. So I would never say to turn off a traffic source that's working for you. Donna says, we have 3 businesses and 14 income streams for them. I know she's retired her husband earlier, you guys, and they're working on it. I don't want to tell tales out of school, but at one point, 1 or more of your kids were helping you with the business. Hey, Mike says it's a great morning. Cows out to pasture now. Mike's on TikTok, and he has his bull camera. He has a GoPro on the bulls, and like one of the bulls, Cash, had a birthday a week or 2 ago, and he's doing well on TikTok. Do you need a huge following on TikTok or any platform? You don't. You just have to make sure that more likely than not, your ideal customers are following you, viewing your content, consuming your content, because those are going to be the people who disproportionately will get on your email list. Those will be the people who disproportionately buy from you. Like Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, they're not even at 6,000 followers on Instagram, but they average out about $1,000 a week from sales in the DMs, lots of cakes, but other types of orders too, through Instagram alone. People are still buying and making a lot of buyers-based decisions on Instagram. I'm not saying everybody has to be on Instagram, but most people should be, because odds are your ideal customer avatar is spending a good up to an hour a day on Insta alone. They do tend to be up to an hour a day on another platform. That's increasingly becoming TikTok. TikTok kicked Google off the #1 most visited site for 2021. No one's done that in 15 years, period. Okay. So if you guys could do me a favor and give this video a big thumbs up. It's not for my ego. I could care less. The algorithm's more likely to ping people while I'm live, and then they're more likely to ping people on the replay. Okay. So if you guys could give this video a big thumbs up, if you're finding that, I'm answering your questions, I'm shouting you out, this is useful, other people should see it, a thumbs up would be great. Otherwise, I'm fine. You're not doing it for me. So as I indicated before, no proof of concept means you can't get sales at all, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, and or you're only getting friends, relatives, coworkers, neighbors, kids, parents, spousal connections to buy from you. And I'm glad you're making money and you might even be profitable, but ask yourself, would someone out in the wild give you their credit card? Because if they're not doing it, They don't know you from a hole in the wall, but they know, like, and trust you, your offerings, your branding, your brand-based community and experience enough to say, here, take my credit card. I'm pretty sure you're not going to steal it. I trust you, right? So people do love to buy online. That was going up anyway before 2020. Since 2020, people are doing at least about 75% of their buying online now, still, because of the convenience, because it's part of their daily rhythms, right? So you can still do very good business online. But if you can't get anybody or anybody who doesn't know you to buy from you, you do not have proof of concept for your business. And the last thing I want anybody to do if you're in that position is to pour money into paid ads. Because if it's not working for you organically, it's not likely going to be working for you when you pump paid ads in. I am not against paid ads. Make sure you hear me. Once you are profitable, even as a beginner, if it's fiscally responsible for you, you can keep up with everything personally and professionally. Yes, reinvest 25% of your profits back into your business. That's true even as a beginner. You'll have more as you go into intermediate. You're making more money. You're making tens of thousands of dollars, right? You have 1,000 people plus or minus on that email list, right? Your open rates are at least 2% on your emails. I know that sounds scarily low, but that's the story, folks. People will check their emails up to 19 times a day, but they may not open every email. Does that mean that you shouldn't try to build an email list? You have to, okay? Because here's a scary statistic if you don't know this one. 98% of people who visit your website for the first time, and if you don't have your own website, fill in the blank with Etsy shop or whatever else, 98% of people will not buy from you the first visit. So if you don't capture that lead, and you can't really do it on Etsy, Etsy's a great traffic source, not saying don't be on Etsy if that fits your business model. But if you send them to your website, and there's not a bajillion places for them to get on your email list, you lose. You are not optimized to capture leads. On that first on that first visit to your business's website, I'm not saying you can't get sales, but with most first timers, you won't. So you really only have one job besides whatever you're lucked out. It was Kismet baby, somebody bought. It's to get them on the email list. 60% of people get on email lists for businesses because they want to be sold to. They may not be able to buy every single week. You think I have thousands of people on my email list and they all buy every single week? That'd be great, but that's not what happens. And I sell things for $37 to almost $2,000 now, right? Different things to help different needs for my single ideal customer. I've been in business 8 years. I've had proof of concept for 8 years. Everything's been growing over 8 years. In the beginning, your business should have only one ideal customer avatar. I really don't like you getting to 2 until your business is 7 figures or at least close. I kid you not. And when you are beginner intermediate, you have the single ideal customer avatar and you're only trying to solve one problem. You are not a Swiss Army knife, even of solutions for that ideal customer avatar. Once you are into multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, you can play. Like, that's what I'm doing. But not everybody can do that. Okay. Beginners and intermediates, probably not. Intermediates, if you're kicking ass, taking names, and you're investing at least 25% back into your business, maybe you're running some ads to get paid traffic because you know you have proof of concept. You know you're getting sales every week. You know that you're growing your social following every week. I don't care if you're viral or not. Are you going to go viral in terms of getting a ton of people on your email list? No, not everybody is your ideal customer. Cool it. It's fine. More is better, cool, especially on the email list and sales. But you can't deposit followers in the bank. I'd rather you grow low and slow with folks that will buy from you, have bought from you, and continue to buy from you, or when they're ready, willing, and able to, will buy from you. So if you don't even have 6,000 people on Insta, but you've been a 7-figure business like Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill has been for several years now, you win. There's an article, and those that are in my Socialgram shortcut course know this. Even the updated version, I put this in the updated version. I share with you an article that says that there was an influencer that had 2.6 million followers on Instagram. She had an engaged enough community. It wasn't horrible. She tried to sell a line of her own merch and couldn't even sell 36 t-shirts and shut down her line of merch. Okay, so bigger isn't always better. You really want that qualified lead to get on your email list, to get following you, to get on your email list. Okay. Oh, hey, Jacqueline, what's going on? Do you have any questions for me today? Jacqueline Marchand is here. Okay, so I see more thumbs up. Thank you, guys. I could care less for me. It just pings more people while I'm live, and it's more likely to show the replay video as a suggestion to people who are at least subscribed to me, on the replay. Remember, if you're watching on the replay, you can still ask questions in the comments section down below. And if you're not part of my free Facebook group, we're heading towards 400 people in there. Content marketing for conversions, apply to get in. I'll make sure you're not a spam bot, and boom, you're in. And the top of the feed, there's the files link that you can click or tap on, and it'll give you 2 free PDFs that should help you with your content marketing. So what do you think is the cause for not having proof of concept? A lot of times people feel like, I feel like I'm ugly and my mother dresses me funny, and that's why nobody's buying from me. It is not you, okay? As the brand leader, people ever see videos or pictures of you and you're like, I have to lose weight. I feel like I'm too old. I'm not dressed all trendy. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not handsome enough. I'm not comely enough. I'm going to tell you what, you think most of America or the globe is just populated with supermodels and you're the weird kid in school? No, you're not. Most of us have a bunch of things that we could say I'm not about. That's not a reason not to market, not to be in any of your marketing ever, not to act like an appropriate brand leader. And that's probably not why people aren't buying from you. And it's almost never because they think your offerings just suck or they're ugly. For coaches and course creators, that's less your worry. If your product's based, whether you're handmade or not, sure, that might be your worry. But that's probably not it. I have to tell you, and I'm being honest here, okay? An honest attorney need not be an oxymoron. And I've been one since 1998. I've only had one student, I'm not going to name her business, of course, where she was like, I don't understand it. Nobody's buying my stuff. Nobody's paying attention to my social. I can't get anything done. And I'm like, it can't be your stuff. And I showed up and I was like, wow, that put the ugh in ugly. But then again, I'm not her ideal customer. I don't know. But only once in 8 years have I ever looked at a product-based person's business and their offerings and gone, that's bad. So it's probably not that at all, okay? Why you can't get proof of concept isn't you and isn't your offerings in a vacuum. If as long as you're pricing towards the top 10% of what your competitors are doing, you are not only acceptable in terms of your pricing, you're competitive for it. If you price too cheaply, especially now, because heavens to Murgatroyd, the economy sucks in America or globally. I better dumb down my prices. Number one, I don't know how long you'll be in business, even if you do a proof of concept, because you're not going to be able to make enough money to stay alive in your business and pay yourself. Right? That's crazy. And if you're an entrepreneur of any stripe, you probably heard of the concept of pay yourself first. So, once you're getting into profitability, you're starting to build up some steam. You're slowly but surely growing your social following. You're slowly but surely growing that email list. And of course, you're slowly but surely in a corresponding way growing your sales. That's wonderful. But in the meantime, you need to be able to pay yourself first. Okay. So if you're not doing that, I'm going to tell you, you don't have proper profit margins. So I know that times are hard and you might be tempted to reduce the quality of your offerings, reduce the size of your offerings, reduce the pricing of your offerings. And I'm going to tell you, try not to do that. It depends upon your business model and the facts and circumstances, I'll acknowledge. But if I have to paint with a broad brushstroke, as I tell any of my regular and irregular students, you know, you're not going for low income. When you try to sell to people who have no money, they can't buy. So that's a going out of business plan. If you're selling to people who are low income or middle class, struggling paycheck to paycheck, and that's your goal, that's part of the demographics of your ideal customer, that's a bad thing to do because they either can't afford to buy from you at all, even when times are good. Now times are bad. If that's disproportionately who you're trying to approach, and you either market less or it's like your pricing is clearance sale stuff pricing, you're only going to attract, how do I want to put this kindly? Well, I tell my students all the time, your ideal customer in terms of household income, that sort of demographic thing, what kind of tax bracket they are, they should always be upper middle class and above. And if you're thinking from a scarcity concept or mindset, you're not helping yourself anyway. I don't want to be woo-woo, but I'm just being practical. And even if the divide between the haves and the have-nots in America or elsewhere continues to grow, that may be disturbing, but you're still going to have a ton of haves and they're still going to spend. Whether they trim back a little on their spending or not, they're always going to have the money for the things that they want and the things that they need, period. And even if they have to work harder, they tend to reinvest back into themselves for convenience, for spoiling themselves, whatever. These are not going to be people who are suddenly going to live like, there's no tomorrow, suddenly going to live like, it's winter and they have nothing. People who've been living paycheck to paycheck or worse, yeah, they're not going to buy from you. And if they were buying from you, and that's really disproportionately who you were pushing your content out to and who you were trying to sell to, they're going to buy from you less. So that probably has to do with why they're buying from you less. So if you're not marketing as much as you want to because you're scared that you're going to irritate people because times are hard, that's kind of bad on you too, because you're prejudging your whole audience. If your mindset has been, I'm middle class, lower middle class, that's what I'm doing. Then of course you're not going to sell because you believe that disproportionately the people out there on the internet are poor or barely getting by. And that's not true. That's not true. And even if that were, God forbid, the case, you're really trying to sell to people who have money. When you're selling to people who don't have money, that's a going out of business plan. Also, upper middle class and above, if you dumb down your prices too much, whether it's a bad economy or whatever your rationale is, you want to be more affordable for more people, disproportionately you scare people away. You can Google buyer psychology studies if you don't want to believe me. That's okay if you're like having some resistance to this. But most people who are upper middle class and above, who have disposable income every month, when they look at prices that are too cheap, what do you think their conclusion is? If you're standing in their shoes, the quality must be cheap, the workmanship must be cheap, or if it's a coach, course creator, or service provider, and this isn't like a teaser rate, like it's clear that the first time you buy from us, you buy our services or whatever, maybe it's a teaser rate of 50% off. It's not clear that it's a teaser rate. It's something cheap. People who don't have a lack mentality, people who do have disposable income will go, I don't know what the story is there. I think I don't have the time to kind of figure this person out or figure this business out. I'd rather go to people and or businesses that really seem to know what they're doing, and they're marketing, they're staying top of mind with me. They're running promotions throughout the month. Maybe I'll shop during a sale, but I'd rather shop them than someone else. So let me put this to you in an example, okay? Like food service. My first 7-figure client was Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill. Took them from barely profitable to 2 years, 2 years. I'm not promising overnight success for everybody. I've had some students hit it out of the park. That's wonderful. That's also an anomaly. A lot of folks have to grow low, slow, and steady. And again, if you have a business, like I said, more towards the top of the hour where it's profitable, you have proof of concept. It's just that your sales are tamping down. I love you too, baby. Two things. Number one, maybe you need a side hustle to get rid of your extra debt. Because if you're not crazy busy, like you're working 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week with your business, because if you were, you wouldn't be having trouble. My folks that are six figures and beyond, they're definitely working even with the team that many hours. You can't have it all ways. So if your business is proof of concept, it's profitable, it's breaking even or a bit more, and now you're concerned about finances, will my business survive to see the next day? Yeah, probably. But guess what? You need to get a side hustle, something disposable and easy, and cut down whatever part of your debt that you can cut down so that you don't have pressure, stress, and noise screwing your head up so that you can't, get out of your own way. I have known people over the last 8 years of coaching, good economy or bad economy, that they will do that to themselves. And it's like, get your head out of your butt, heal your own cranial rectosis and market. Okay. Because the upper middle class and above, the haves will continue to remain by and large the haves. Those are always the people that you are marketing to. Last month, I had a couple weeks ago, I had a boot camp for May marketing. And do you know how many of those people who showed up that were like, I'm selling to lower middle class people? Why? Well, because I'm more likely to get sales that way. Are you? Let's think this out. Let's think this through. Good economy or bad economy. If they're lower income, they're making maybe 30, 40, 50,000 a year. How much disposable income do you think they have? Even if they're single, how much disposable income do you think they have? So why are you targeting lower middle class? Oh, okay, I'll do middle class. Okay, so what are we talking about? 75,000, 80,000? They definitely aren't making 100, 120,000 or above. How much more disposable income do you think they have? How often are they going to be able to buy your offerings? Whether you're a coach, course creator, you provide services from lawn cutting to you're an attorney with your own solo practice, or you're a products-based business, whether you're handmade or not. Who would you rather have as an ideal customer? Your ideal customer avatar, otherwise aside, would you rather have somebody who can afford to buy from you every month as opposed to somebody who has to scrape all year to put their money in the Kris Kringle fund that they have so that they can afford Christmas? Who would you rather, and how do you think you're going to get to six figures and beyond, like so many of my students have gotten? Even the ones knocking on heaven's door, they're not there yet. But man, a year or two ago, they were lucky if they made $5,000 a year. They're making tens and tens of thousands of dollars now. Do you think that they're selling to people who are lower middle class, who are middle class, who are struggling from paycheck to paycheck? You think you're going to get rich off that? The only way you can sell super cheap things and or super cheap prices is if you are driving an incredible amount of traffic. One of the best salespeople in the world and one of the biggest sales coaches from decades ago was Dan Kennedy. And Dan was always like, listen, you price the cheapest. There's only one business that's going to win that battle. You don't want to be the second best one, because you are not likely going to be able to sustain the profit margins that you need if you're not driving a huge amount of traffic, which when people come to me and they don't have proof of concept or they barely have a profitable business, there is no way in Hades you are driving a ton of traffic. So cheap prices, you cannot win that battle. You cannot win it. Selling to people of no money, that seems like an obvious no-brainer. But if you're selling to lower middle class or middle class struggling to paycheck, it's the same thing. They may have money, but not for you. Hey, Miss Lisa Garrett, what's going on? Hi, Miss Lisa. What's going on? Does this make sense? Is anybody struggling on that level? Let me know. Does anybody have any questions live or on the replay about anything that I've said? I think this has been a pretty packed hour. If you're just coming in now, you definitely want to hashtag replay this. And make sure you give it a thumbs up for sure. If you're not in my Content Marketing for Conversions Facebook group, you should be. There's 2 freebie PDFs that can help you to improve your content marketing so that you are ultimately driving more traffic to your business to do more business. So it's totally free to be in that group. I will post announcements when I put up YouTube videos and stuff like that, because I'm going to be doing more work with Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill while one of our marketer people are on maternity leave. I will go down on this YouTube channel to like 2 pre-recorded videos a week and then the live stream replay. I may even drop to 1 pre-recorded video a week with the live stream replay. I may or may not have to move this live stream to Saturday, but right now I don't. Right now I don't. If you're on my email list, you will definitely get, the news. If you're in Content Marketing for Conversions, I will put posts there. If you're like, I need more help with this content marketing stuff, I published 5 days a week since the beginning of the year. So it's all organized neatly into playlists. You need help with Instagram Reels, there's playlists for that. Instagram SEO for keywords in your captions, there's a playlist for that. TikTok, there's a playlist for that. But you can content market your face off. But if you don't have a clear ideal customer and only one, other people can buy from you, that's cool. Whether they're buying for themselves or they're buying gifts for people who would be your ideal customer. Like, how many people shopped your businesses for Mother's Day that aren't your ideal customer? Maybe it's husbands buying things for wives, as an example. And they wouldn't normally buy your feminine jewelry, let's say, for themselves, but they're buying it as a gift for their mother, their wife, their sister who's a mom, right? So you can always have people that are not your ideal customer buy from you. But when you don't have proof of concept for your business, your offerings, be they products, services, whatever, the keywords that you're using in your captions, the hashtags that you're using are overbroad. You're getting drowned in seconds. I don't care what platform you're on. You don't have a very clear message. So people might never see your stuff, right? Or, you're going to get low views and how do I say this properly? Far fewer people getting on your email list and buying from you, right? And if you don't have any money for ads, ads are a great traffic source, but only if you have proof of concept and you're profitable and it's fiscally responsible for you to invest in ads. So I wouldn't sweat ads right now. I would sweat organic content marketing that I'm doing with sufficient frequency. I'm in the right places. I'm not overextending myself. Top 2 social media platforms. Occasionally you can share the same post between the 2 platforms. I wouldn't do it all the time. I would mix things up. Like for Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill on Instagram, we can do a live stream once a week. We have our Instagram story content that people like. We get lots of views on them when we do them. But on TikTok, we don't tend to do live streams. We've done a couple of experimental ones, whatever. They're not really driving sales the way the Instagram ones are. But we still get people who say, I discovered you, and I am in your locality, in your county, in the Hudson Valley region, and we came through. We discovered you, or our kids or grandkids discovered you on TikTok and said, oh, wow, we can get to them in an hour or less one way in the car. Foodies will travel on the weekends. They do. Does anybody have any questions for me? Is this just a lot of food for thought for people? If you've not joined the Content Marketing for Conversions, folks, a Facebook group, free Facebook group, get your 2 freebies in there on Facebook, Content Marketing for Conversions. If you're watching this on the replay, just search Facebook for that. You'll find it. I will say something else. One of my students, a couple days ago, said, I've emailed daily to my list the first 4 days of May. I feel like I'm bugging the crap out of people. I've had more unsubscribes in 3.5 days than I've had in 4 months, and I was emailing a minimum of once a week. So I would say this: you really shouldn't be emailing your list less than once a week. Let me address that concern. I did it in the group, but I'm going to do it here because I'm all about capturing those leads on that email list, because 3/4 of your sales from month to month should come from your email list. You're not capturing leads. You're not driving people to that link in bio or whatever. You're not dropping the link while you're on Facebook, doing a live and posting the replay and pinning it to your first comment. It's one thing to get the email list set up and say MailChimp. It's free to the first 1,000 subscribers that you have, right? So it's free. So price isn't a barrier. YouTube has a ton of step-by-step tutorials for beginners. Throw the year 2022 in there. You can't go wrong. So it's not like you got to buy a course to train on MailChimp. MailChimp will be the tool that satisfies you from beginner to intermediate at least. And Joe's is an advanced business. They don't need to segment like crazy. They're still using MailChimp. So, but once you get to be an advanced business or intermediate to advanced as a coach, something like ConvertKit might help you. It depends upon the business model. But I will say you can't email your list any less than once a week, because you will disproportionately have unsubscribes when you do finally email them, because a lot of people are you're not the center of their universe, and they're going to forget that they even subscribe to you, and they're going to be like, who's this now? Unsubscribe. I forgot about him. They didn't stay, they might use different words in their head, but they didn't stay top of mind to me. I don't care about them anymore. Bye. So once a week is a minimum. A couple times a week can do well if you're not always just selling to them. When you're a smaller business, you're not like a big brand like, say, Estee Lauder or Fendi or Gucci. Those things are legacy brands. They have no like and trust automatically, whether you think they deserve it or not. They have it. They've had it for generations. They don't have to worry about optimizing their keywords and their hashtags. They do have email lists now. They were slow to even get them, but they didn't care until probably around 2020. Some of them before. But they don't have to earn a lot of know, like, and trust because they already have it. When you're trying to earn competition away from them or whatever legacy brands are your more direct competitors, folks will get on your email list for a good coupon. A good coupon is 20% or higher. If you're like, I can't do that, increase your prices. You have to price high enough to discount low enough. Today, everyone's increasing their prices. And if you're not making enough money, you probably don't have a big enough profit margin anyway. Like I said, if you're too cheap, you're actually scaring people away. But if you're providing value to that list, right? Like, I'll do the free live streams once a week. People like that. I'm not always just selling. I will let people know when I do YouTube videos with my email list, and people like that too. So it's not always buy. And sometimes it is like, here's the free YouTube video. P.S. This is open right now. Or P.S. running a sale right now on this. Get into the boot camp before it closes. It works. It really does work. But every day, it depends upon your ideal customer avatar and your business model. I would Google like what's working given those two constraints. Because some businesses can email every day or close to it and get away with it. And if they're a legacy brand, they don't have to bother with, here's our latest YouTube video. We're going live this week to do a free demo or teach you tips, tricks, and techniques, right? They don't have to do that. But if you do that, you're probably fine, because people are like, when I'm ready, willing, and able to buy, I will buy from them. If they're running a sale and I have to wait for the sale because that would help me, then I'll do that. Most people are not going to bail off your email list if they know, like, and trust you. You're providing value. Sometimes it's straight up relationship marketing emails. Sometimes it's straight up sales-based marketing emails. You're a business. Okay. You're allowed to do those. Anybody who thinks that you're not is kind of cuckoo and needs to, good riddance. They weren't going to buy from you anyway. But don't be scared to email your list. Please make sure you're emailing your list once a week at a minimum. Okay. When you start emailing your list more, it's also not unusual to get a bigger drop off, because some people are like, I really don't have the trail went cold or once a week was fine, but whatever, they're not your problem. Don't worry about that. But 1, 2, 3 times a week, I do like that. I really do. I'm not going to go away from it. And you can Google why if you don't believe me. This isn't the gospel according to Stacey Storino. Lenore says that was me. I didn't want to out you, Miss Lenore. I switched it up and I was doing it wrong. I am on ConvertKit with 5,500 plus subs. So mixing it up likely threw them off. Yeah, for the first week or two of mixing certain things up like that, don't be surprised. But also, Lenore, the people who are going to get off your list, you probably didn't have much know, like, and trust with them. It might be totally them. It might not be you. It might not be that, it might not be the content that you're sharing with them, but you're a business. Under no circumstances do I want anybody watching this live or on the replay to go, I can't email my list at least once a week. You do less than that, they're going to forget about you. The trail goes way too cold. If you've been religious about, or pretty darn good about emailing your list once a week, and you start emailing them more, you may have some people go, this was too much for me. I'll leave. Do you think they were a diehard fan of you? I highly doubt it. I'm on email lists for several of my pacing partners, my peers who are coaches. I love getting emails from them. I may or may not ever buy from any of them. But like, if you're into whatever it is that the intersecting interest is that would bring ideal customers like yours to a business like yours with offerings like yours, they're not going to care if you sell to them every single day of the week. They're not going to jump off your list if they're a super fan of yours, if they feel like they get to know, like, and trust you as a business owner, if they've ever been past customers of yours and they've been happy. Those aren't the people you tend to lose off your list. Okay. Like, if somebody unsubscribes from my list, I always do check them against my student database. I almost never get a student who bought anything from me, even just one thing from me, want to get off my email list. One day I had somebody who did that, and I was like, oh, and I looked in the reason why they unsubscribed. They were retiring. So when you have good offerings, when you have good customer service where applicable, when you have a really great brand community and a brand-based experience, what you get is a whole lot less of unsubscribes. You may have tire kickers that get on your email list and leave. You may have some people that are just overwhelmed and they're just, they're saying, I have to go to email inbox 0. Good luck to them, but it's nothing personal to you. I know it's hard. Like, Lenore has a really healthy sized email list. God bless her. But I know that for a lot of people, if you have like 100 subscribers or less, it hurts. It feels like somebody's ripping a rib out of your rib cage when they unsubscribe. I know I used to feel like that way in the beginning when I was on the march to the first 100 subscribers. I have thousands of them now. And it's not like I'm like, I could care less when people unsubscribe. Sure, I even to this day am like, oh, what a missed opportunity. But you can't. The whole point is, as long as your email list is still growing more than you're losing people, you are driving good traffic to your business. And statistically speaking, you will do more business, right? So your goal is always to grow more than you drop. When you're small in the beginning, as long as you're breaking even that's good. You're small. You're still building up street cred. Yeah, I know more subscribers or followers is good for good social proof. I'm not going to lie, as you do get bigger, you will tend to see your growth increase more. And I don't typically think it's always like, well, the algorithms like to promote winners. The algorithms on the platforms will promote people more when you are very good with your posting frequency, and you're very consistent. If you post like gangbusters for a couple of days and you drop, that's going to hurt you for a short period of time. You can overcome it. So consistency is key. And then frequency is a minimum of once a day. Like on TikTok, they recently had, they had like a like a seminar, I guess I should say. It's not really the word I want, but anyway, they let creators know that right now, in this snapshot of time on TikTok, 3 to 5 videos a day, as long as you're consistent and they perform even kind of at all, that's going to help you on TikTok. But they acknowledged a lot of people are entrepreneurs or busy with their families. Once a day is like the minimum frequency. So on my test account, I'm totally not frequent at all with my posts on my Stacey Storino TikTok account. And so I can't expect when I post the next thing that, it's necessarily going to go supersonic just because I'm me. Every video on TikTok does have a disproportionate better chance to go supersonic on its own. But increasingly, TikTok is saying the algorithms are getting a little bit more mature. It is going to maybe show a little bit more favoritism if you're posting once a day. You occasionally skip whatever, but basically you're really good on your consistency. That is not what I would have told you a year ago, right? But all these algorithms, just like people, they get more and more complex. They get more and more experienced. They do evolve and they grow. So over time on every platform, the price of poker goes up. So a minimum frequency of once a day on Instagram, Reels, ideally as much as you can, and a minimum of once a day on TikTok. If you're on Facebook, not just because that's comfortable for you, but because that's where your ideal customer is. I mean, Joe's, we tend to post multiple times a day. We also have, I don't think we're to 13,000 yet on our page. Our group is over 3,200 now. So we tend to post way more than once a day. Facebook is a very, very, very competitive platform. Twitter, God help you. I don't want to get into politics or Elon or anything like that. But please don't, guys. This is like a politics-free zone here. I hope. But Twitter, I wouldn't be on Twitter professionally unless you know your ideal customer. They really are entrenched on Twitter. So Bridget isn't here, but when she did deep dive research on her ideal customer for her business, she can't stand Twitter. Neither can I. But she's like, darn it, I have to be on Twitter, without getting into why. It's different for every ideal customer avatar. Her business improved once she posted on Twitter. But the frequency on Twitter, it's even more competitive than Facebook if I really had to pick. She's using Later to schedule. I forget what she's using for Twitter, though. I don't think it's Later. But she knows, because she's done her own research. It's not just the gospel according to Stacey Storino, hourly on Twitter, or it's really hard to get traction. So don't go on Twitter if you don't need to. Or if you're like, well, I repost things to Twitter, once a day and I don't see any traction. You probably wouldn't. That's not enough, right? So know your people, then know your platforms, right? It's not worth trying to be everywhere, especially as a beginner or intermediate business. You can't do that. I'm not advocating that you content market all day long. That's insane. When are you going to have time to do your business? The bigger you are and the bigger your team is, you can spread out over more platforms if you want to. Does anybody have any questions for me? Are you all in a good place? Let me know. I have a really good video that I posted the other day. I highly recommend you guys show it some love. It is our Instagram Reels Good for Growth. Okay. That was published back on May 5th. And I'm thinking, if you are using Reels, there are tips and tricks to make sure that it will help with the growth of your 3 macro conversions. Yeah, getting more followers is good to a certain degree for social proof, but you can't deposit those in the bank. If you're getting qualified leads through Instagram Reels or just Instagram content in general, If you're getting qualified leads, even if there isn't a truckload of them, but they're more likely to buy from you and they are buying from you, then who cares? But macro conversion number 1 is social following, increasing that. Macro conversion number 2 is increasing your email list. And macro conversion number 3, of course, is sales. You do 1 and 2 in increasing numbers, you're getting more people into your marketing and sales funnel with your properly optimized content, you're going to get more sales. You are. So again, Joe's is a 7-figure business year over year, steadily increasing for the last 3-4 years, honestly. And we don't even have 6,000 followers on Instagram. I don't teach my students to go super huge. You don't want to go super huge. You don't need to. You need the right people who are viewing your content and then buying from you, whether they follow from you or not. Okay. Jacqueline says, great info. I really appreciate it. Cool. All right. If you guys are all in a good place, I've been given for an hour and 15 minutes at least here. So next week for sure, I'm still going to be doing my live stream on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I may have to move it to the weekend because Joe's needs a little bit more out of me right now. Because again, one of our bigger content creators and managers, she's going on maternity leave soon. So, and we're too big of a business to drop off. And also, to be fair, I haven't been writing the captions for a while. They're converting, but they're not to my standard. So I'm going to have to work in more time for Joe's, and that means I might have to move over to Saturday. If you're in content marketing for conversions before the week is out, I will be posting a poll in there to get a feel Saturday versus Sunday. I will have to do it earlier Eastern Standard Time, but we'll see like what hour earlier you guys can do. And yes, if you like the popularity plan, and a lot of y'all do, that will be dropping this week as well for June 2022. I have had some requests to make the June 2021 packs available too, because between the 2 packs, they're not the same holidays. They're not the same tentpole events. So obviously they're not the same captions. They're also not the same emails. And my intermediate to advanced students do like to email their lists more than once a week for sure. So it's like you would have if you had both June packs from 2021 and 2022. So if you bought last year's, you should still buy this year's if you're so inclined, because then you can cover roughly 30 days worth of content automatically. And then whatever you create, you could layer on top of that, right? So you're staying more top of mind. And if things are optimized properly, you are driving more people into your funnel. So you would get ultimately between the 2 packs, you would have 8 emails, 30 captions, and 30 graphics. And for 2022, we're throwing in an extra 15 graphics. So if you do have last year's pack, but you want freshened up stuff as an extra bonus, we have the 15 additional graphics in there. Go nuts. Lenore Love says, thank you, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Yeah, I'm at like 99% now, Miss Lenore. I will be going into the May boot camp to announce the prize winner. It's so hard because so many people played full out. We will have a boot camp for June for those that are interested. But first, I want to drop the regular popularity plan packs. I've got a lot of takers for those, and I want to make sure they're in a good place because, gosh, we're almost to the middle of May. Memorial Day weekend is coming up. Who's traveling? Who's running promotions? Who's doing both? So I don't want to wait till the last minute for that. So I will have the popularity plan pack sales pages probably coming up tomorrow. Check your email. If you're not on the email list, join it by going to don'tbeafakeguru.com. You will get actually another free PDF there, if and only if you're not on the email list already. And that PDF is different than the 2 free PDFs that you would get by going into content marketing for conversions. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.